If you've been thinking of making a move to White Rock, BC, or living in White Rock, BC generally, this video is for you because I gotta let you know about some things that I need to let you know about living in White Rock, some things that I just gotta get off my chest to make sure you know exactly what you're getting into. And I know what you're thinking, what could be so bad about living in White Rock? I mean, it's like the crown jewel of the lower mainland of British Columbia. That's where so many of the local residents strive to call home over years and years of property ownership, just hoping one day that they can relocate their families to the city of White Rock. It's a premier area. It's a beach town. There is so much going on. And while that may be true, there's some things that you definitely need to know about living there. Being someone that's lived in the area almost my entire life, both child and adult life, I have seen it all. And the community has been changing. Some say for the better, and some might say for the worst. In today's video, we're gonna jump into some of my biggest gripes about living in the city of White Rock so you are completely aware of them should you choose to call this place home. There should be absolutely no surprises for you. So that sounds good. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Darren, team leader of a top performing real estate team serving Surrey, BC and the surrounding areas. You might have seen me featured in big media like on Global TV, CTV, or in various newsprints like Business in Vancouver or the Georgia Strait. I created this YouTube channel to help you learn all about the areas of White Rock and Surrey, BC, and to offer a trusted voice for everything going on with real estate in British Columbia. Our team has helped hundreds and hundreds of people just like you buy or sell a home. So if you find yourself looking for help, connect with us by checking out the video description below, where you'll also find tons of valuable information and downloads for both home buyers and sellers. Now, enjoy the video. All right, so when you relocate anywhere, whether it's to White Rock, BC, Surrey, BC, wherever that might be, you probably have done what absolutely everybody does. You're sitting there Googling all of the information, trying to learn as much about the location as possible. You might even be checking out our Living in White Rock playlist or our Living in South Surrey playlist, our Living in Surrey playlist, whatever that might be, trying to get all the information about the community that you're looking to call home. But sometimes you just don't get everything that you need. You might hear all of the good, but none of the bad. Look, moving is a big deal. Relocating is a big deal. You only got one chance to do it. It's incredibly expensive and it's incredibly burdensome on you and your family. So without further ado, let's get into some of my biggest problems with living in White Rock. And I'm gonna make you a little bit of a challenge here as well. If you are trying to guess of the things that I'm about to get into in this video and I end up hitting one, consider subscribing to this channel so you don't miss out on any updates regarding anything to do with Surrey real estate, White Rock real estate, and anything going on in the wild world of British Columbia real estate. Sound good? Let's get started. All right, so the first one on my list, and this is probably one that got you interested in living in White Rock in the first place, is it's not a small little beach town anymore. Far from it. And this used to be the big allure of living in White Rock generally. In fact, that's how White Rock really got its start. It was a little cottage community that the residents of New Westminster would build beach houses at and come vacation at over the summer. Well, that story has somewhat changed a little bit, and that's not quite the case anymore because there is just development, construction, and density being added absolutely everywhere. Now, while this is not necessarily unique to White Rock, it does take away from the allure of what the city is and why so many decided to call this place home to begin with. We're talking about towering concrete towers popping up absolutely everywhere in White Rock, in the downtown area, and even on the hillside. We're talking about huge zoning changes, adding density to the neighborhoods. And while adding density isn't necessarily a bad thing, the question that I'm left with is that what the community necessarily wants? Not overly often do you see new swaths of detached homes being built, but rather high density type units like townhomes and more specifically condominiums being added, which is really putting a strain on the services and the city of White Rock generally. And this density isn't going to stop. There's just going to be more and more coming, adding more and more people to this once small beach community. So not being a small town and all this construction, well, this naturally leads us into my next gripe or problem about living in White Rock. And that's the fact that there is just absolutely traffic everywhere. And it feels like even in our small little community, it can take 20 minutes to get absolutely anything done from point A to point B. Now look, White Rock proper, it doesn't really have a lot of great shopping options. Oftentimes you're gonna have to commute into South Surrey to get a lot of your day-to-day tasks done. The interesting thing about this is there's lots of those areas to be had in South Surrey. Lots of these kind of little community shopping centers where you really don't generally have to go too far to get anything. The problem is the amount of traffic and the streets not really being built to handle all this new added density and all of the traffic that comes with it. Oftentimes you are going to find yourself stuck in a line waiting for a construction flag waiver to let you pass as a crane pulls building construction materials off a truck and onto the building site. This means the latest tower in the neighborhood is going up. Or what about these, we'll call them reimagined roadways. Roadways and ways to get around that were built for this once small community that simply don't allow or have the capacity to deal with the density. It's not uncommon that you'll be driving through White Rock or South Surrey and hit multiple spots of construction on your route to get to wherever you're going. Everything just can move so slow and it can be so difficult to get around absolutely anywhere. Now, with all this construction and all this density and all this traffic, naturally means that the amenities likely are getting stressed as well, and that would be the third on our list. You'd be absolutely correct. Let me give you some examples of what I mean by amenities being absolutely stressed. For any parents that are local to the White Rock or South Surrey neighborhood, as an example, and have kids that maybe participate in sports, well, they'll be the first to tell you that the sports teams are absolutely packed. They are sitting at their computers at the time of registration, hitting refresh, trying to get in just to secure maybe a spot for a swimming lesson or a hockey team or a soccer team. This is even more challenged at this point because there's not new facilities going in anywhere. I mean, the land is relatively locked. To give you a small example, when I help my son's hockey team, I drive by 2 ice rinks located in South Surrey, White Rock area and drive for about 20 to 25 minutes to get to the ice rink that we need to practice at because it's the only one that has ice time available. They're not adding new sports fields. They're not adding more places to play soccer and baseball and all the sorts of things that the kids absolutely love. Let's continue on with amenities though for a moment, because things like schools aren't much different. In fact, the schools are really struggling, and the teachers at these schools work so hard to deliver high-level, high-class education to our children, but there's just so many children and so much demand to get into these schools. It's estimated that the Surrey School District has added additional 2,000 students starting in its schools as of this September. And while new elementary schools are on the way to help ease the burden, they're not ready yet, and the question is, will it even be enough when they are? I've got one more on my list for you, and you probably guessed this one if you're playing along at home. And if you were, that means you subscribed to the channel. But this one is the real estate prices, whether you are looking to rent in White Rock or whether you're looking to own. Let me dive a little bit deeper in this and just show you the examples of how expensive living in White Rock really is. To own a detached home in the city of White Rock, the benchmark price in the city of White Rock is almost $470,000 greater than that of the average in the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, which is basically North Delta all the way to Mission, averaged out. This has a benchmark price of a detached home coming in about $10,000 under the $2 million mark. Now that's obviously a ton of money to be able to own a home. If you're not someone that is fortunate enough to have that sort of money to put around, well, you're likely looking at buying a townhome, but townhomes aren't much better. A townhome in the city of White Rock has a benchmark price of $977,000, coming in almost $125,000 more expensive than the average of the Fraser Valley as a whole. So by now you get it's expensive to play, but I'm gonna show you condominiums as well because, well, you should really know. At the date of filming this video, White Rock came in at $604,000 for the benchmark price of a condominium, while the average is about $48,000 less expensive in other areas of the Fraser Valley. White Rock is in demand, and because it's in demand, it is very, very expensive to live here. So now that you've learned about some of the reasons why you might not want to consider calling White Rock home, I mean, this video is to teach you everything you need to know to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. There is always more to learn, like this video coming up next, where I'm going to share some of the pros about living in White Rock to help balance the conversation a little bit. Anyways, let me know what you think about this video and the things I mentioned in the comments below, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing you on the next video coming up next. Cheers.